Welcome to the World Football Summit podcast, the show for football industry leaders who want to stay ahead of the game. We bring you the latest insights, trends, and stories from the experts driving innovation and progress in sports business worldwide. Join us as we dive deep into the ideas and initiatives transforming the world of football. From sustainability and innovation to player development, fan engagement, and everything in between. Our goal is to unite the global football industry and drive positive change and progress.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the World Football Summit podcast. I'm your host, Jaime, CMO at World Football Summit. Today, Kristian Dobrev, Deputy CEO at the Football Business Academy, is back on the show. This time, he brings along with him someone who understands the dynamics of the sports industry like few others do. Dr. Erkut Sogut, founder of Grow, a boutique sports agency, among many other things, as he has also ventured into the content creation and executive search space. The FBA and Erkut have launched a unique online program together for upcoming sports agents, and they're going to tell us all about it. Along the way, we're going to discuss some dynamics going on in the industry that make this course so relevant. As you may know, the FBA is our academic partner for the upcoming years. Why? Because we're so aligned in our ethos. It simply made sense. Their pillars of knowledge, experience, network resonate with what we try to deliver at our events because it is what we feel the football we want needs. Top-tier business professionals who have a passion for football and who want to help build a better football industry. So being able to have this conversation with Kristian and Erkut about the value of a good education, building a network, and even lessons from sports entrepreneurs was just fantastic. Before we go into it though, don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcast on your platform of choice and share it with your industry colleagues. You can also subscribe to our newsletter, where every week we set updates, trends, and everything that goes on at our events. You can find the link in the show notes. We're a couple of months away from WFS Europe in Sevilla, taking place on September 18th and 19th. Are you going to miss it? Tickets are available on our website, so go and check that out. And now, let's welcome Kristian Dobrev and Dr. Erkut Sogut to the show. Well, Kristian, Erkut, welcome to the World Football Summit podcast. I'm really looking forward to this conversation because we're going to talk about education, about dynamics, about stuff that you guys have going on for the industry to be better. So, what a great conversation that we have in store today. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us. Great to be here, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Likewise, Jaime, from my side as well. It's good to be back and looking forward to have this wonderful conversation with our good friend Erkut today.
Yeah, you're a beat guest, Kristian, and you have the benchmark is high. So let's surpass it. All right,
Definitely.
Anyway, so you guys come from different but complementary backgrounds. In sports law, football business education. What brings you together today, Kristian? I don't know if you want to take this one just to start off, because you're an experienced guest.
I mean, I guess what many people brings. The thing that brings many people in this industry together is, first of all, their passion for football. And then second to that, I would say the desire and willingness to collaborate with other great like-minded professionals, right? So the backstory to Erkut and Erkut and the FBA goes back already, 6-7 years, I think it is. It was, again, a common friend and great industry professional, Misha Sher, who put us in touch. He thought that we would benefit from meeting each other. And then everything that flowed from there, I guess, is history, right? Erkut started teaching on our professional mastery in football business. He had some of our interns as well in his agency. And then during the years, we've just kind of kept in touch and always bouncing off experiences and ideas. And I guess this has led to us bringing ourselves together here today to announce something exciting that we've been working on for the past few months.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, you're right, Kristian. It's been 6-7 years now. Time is passing, flying. I still remember my first lecture there when I went to Geneva to meet you guys and to meet the students. And it was also your beginning kind of the FBA, and it was just still new, fresh. And it feels like I've been a part of this journey as well, even I'm not working with you guys on a daily basis, but I feel like I'm kind of a part of the FBA and being there from the beginning. And winning also a couple of times the best teacher of the year. I mean, that's also contributes to that. No, I really enjoy you guys, and I'm extraordinary journey what you guys have started together, like in this world of football. Went into a different pathway and wanted to bring education into the game, which is amazing. And being a part of that, it's really great. And I really look forward to do more.
Yeah, I like the way Kristian summarized it, passion for football and working with the top tier professionals. I think that's kind of like the essence of what we also try to do at World Football Summit. So it's good to have this framework for the conversation from the get-go. So, but before we go into that special announcement that Kristian was referring to, I think it makes sense for the audience to kind of understand, first of all, kind of like the landscape of what's going on in the industry. Because I think it's going to give us more, people are going to understand much better why we're here. No? So let's look at, the sports law landscape, the agents, so much going on, Erkut, right? I mean, if you look at everything that's all the controversy around the FIFA agents, the licensing exam, the Super League is going to come back, how artificial intelligence is going to impact privacy and everything else related. So is it now a good time to be a sports lawyer? Or is it actually the worst because there's so much work and so much uncertainty? What would you say?
I mean, from my perspective, like I'm a sports lawyer / sports or football agent for many years. I would rather say I would work more as an agent than as a lawyer, but being a lawyer and having a PhD in sports law helps me to understand the law side very well. So I have two hats, so to say. I can always look, if new regulations coming out, I can look as a lawyer. And if there's some dispute, I can look as a lawyer. But when it comes to representing clients, then I'm more the agent. It's kind of a hybrid. I'm doing both at the same time. But I'm not the lawyer who goes to court and represent the clients. I leave to experts who does it on a daily basis, and have many friends on that part. But I believe being an agent is a great profession, first of all. Right? And because it's so rich in what you can do, it's not anymore representing a player. Because that many people think, okay, if you become an agent, you represent a player. That's what most people would think, first of all, right? I mean, the regulations gives us the opportunity to represent coaches, selling clubs, buying clubs, the player, the association, if you bring a coach to a football association. So you have many parties you're dealing with. And now we have also women's football growing in the last few years as well. It brings another richness into the game. And especially the marketing side, it's amazing how much in the last few years image rights in football has grown. And working with players doesn't only working for the contract with the club, for the employment contract, so to say, or the playing contract. It's much more than that. It's doing marketing deals, sponsorship deals, doing a lot of behind the scenes. If it's like doing social impact work, and even working on the business side with clients. So it's very rich. I said the future agent is actually a businessman or businesswoman. You need to be thinking like that. You need to be, if you put yourself and say, oh, I just want to be a player agent and represent players, that's not anymore the future. The future is a business person who would represent also, in my opinion, athletes from different sports. So that's the future. I don't think it would be limited to one sport, only football. The future will give you more opportunity. You represent, in the end, talents, right? And that talent can come from any sport. Of course, football is the biggest sport in the world by far. And most of the money is in football. And most of us are in football. But it doesn't limit us to say, hey, why not having two basketball players, right? Why not having a Formula One driver, for example, right? There's so much opportunity out there. You just have to go for it. And I think it's a great time to be an agent. And it's because it's a young profession, Jaime. People don't know the agency world exists since the 90s, kind of, like if you think it's a 30-year profession, more or less. So it's not that developed as well. That's why we have also these moments when new regulations coming out, people doesn't want to adapt it or will it adapt it. It still takes time to create a profession, to develop and to come to a certain momentum where everyone is like, okay, that's the profession and these are the regulations. So we will still have these up and downs in terms of people who will not like what FIFA will put out there. And but eventually this profession is developing and becoming something very special. And athlete representation, I call it, it's a fantastic job to have. It's a fantastic place to be in the game where football and everything is growing so much. And yeah, so I love that job for more than 20 years now. And I enjoyed it. It is a 24/7 job. Yes, I agree. It is exhausting. Yes, it is. But it's also very rewarding, especially when you think long term and not short term. Then it can bring you a lot of benefits in your life, a lot of relationships in your life. And it opens so many doors to other things. I say to many times, football is actually the door to other things in the world. You have to use it in a wise way as an agent or someone working inside as a sports lawyer, because you meet so many different people, even through education. How many people we met, right? Football and education, and football and investment, football and marketing. It's not just only the representation part. I met so many people because I was representing players, and I built amazing relationship because of that. I became one of the lecturers for the FBA because I was a football agent, right? Or I am a football agent. So you need to see it from that perspective. I think personally, I come back to your question. It's a great time to be a football agent because we need educated agents in the business. The more, the better. It will help to professionalize the business. It will help for someone like me to have professional partners all over the world. The better for me, the better for my team, and the less so-called the dodgy bad guys will be getting out of the game.
I mean, complexity, if you think about it, is exciting because it opens up new opportunities. No, that's kind of like the message that I take from your answer. People may be intimidated by it. That's where you get most of the opportunities, and the talent that emerges actually embraces that complexity. And I really like the way you said also that football actually is a door opener for many aspects in life. No, but I guess I'm wondering, Kristian, I mean, everything that's going on today, are these the type of things that you guys cover in your programs?
Absolutely. To Erkut's comment there, at the end of the day, football as an industry really started to grow and blossom in the 90s, right? Which is when a lot of things changed for football, both on the regulation sides with agents, with the Bosman ruling, but also on the media and the commercialization aspects, which were obviously also helped by technological advances such as the internet and just in general, I think the globalization of the world as such. And as such, the majority of, I guess, football industry jobs that we have today, a lot of them were only a fraction of what they represent today in terms of complexity, right? And I think in that context, our role as educators is to first of all raise that awareness to people that want to work in this industry, and then show them actually what goes on behind the scenes in those different stakeholders. And our philosophy from day one has always been, on one side, very practically oriented, so having likes of Erkut and other industry professionals doing the teaching because they're doing that job day to day, and they can transmit their knowledge and their experiences in a way that an academic may not. And second, our philosophy is always centered around having a 360 overview on the industry, right? We believe that regardless of whether someone is going to become a sports lawyer or a sports marketeer or working at a federation or an agency or a brand, everyone should actually be sufficiently educated and aware of what goes on in the whole ecosystem so that their actions and decisions will benefit the ecosystem. I think we discussed this in the previous podcast, but at the end of the day, football industry is so unique and special because the ecosystem is so fragile and interdependent as opposed to other ecosystems, right? I mean, if we're talking about the car industry, technically no one cares if there's only 4 car makers or 400, right? Whereas in football, if there's not enough or too many clubs and competitions and everything, it becomes a quite difficult thing to manage, right? So I think coming back to your question, in our programs, whichever they may be, the masters or others, we always try to make sure that people understand the industry from a 360 degree, which of course means that we have to make sure that our curriculums stay up to date, that they are a reflection of what's happening and what's going to happen, so that the people taking our programs to educate themselves and to bring their skills up to the next level can have that knowledge and take it as they go about doing their jobs in the industry.
Yeah, one of the things I always think about is that, and I don't remember where I heard this, but constant, the only thing that's constant in the industry is change. Meaning that, you're never going to have everything, something's always happening, right? And I think it's those professionals that actually are able to adapt are going to be able to, so you really have to embrace uncertainty. That's kind of like one of the main lessons that I've learned after working in the industry, And I don't know, Erkut, maybe we can go with you with this one. If there's some other lessons that you think can be learned by sports industry professionals with everything that's going on.
Yeah, first of all, one of the biggest lessons when I educating agents. And I've done it like now for more than 10 years, right? When I reached a certain moment in my career, I said, okay, I want to now start educating agents. And the entire team of mine who are now running the agency today, there are 8 agents, and I have educated them all myself, like over years, right? The CEO is like 7 years with us. And one thing I learned is like the knowledge, the normal life knowledge in terms of, or not the knowledge, the behavior to have it daily in place, it sometimes is forgotten about people. So it's like having the basic communication skills, right, is one of the most important things. How to communicate with people, how to build a better communication skill, right? And for example, for me, it's one of the most important things to be able to communicate with people in the right way. So this is also something an agent needs to learn, because most of the ones, they just start writing, calling a sporting director out of the blue. Hey, I have 3 players. Do you want to take one of them? You know what I mean? This is not the right way. Even you have the knowledge, even you pass a FIFA agent exam, even you pass some courses, but the really life working out there. So the base, people forget sometimes the base, how to communicate with someone in the best way, right? And how to do it in a consistent way as well. I'm trying to tell them, like, you can't just do it like once. You need to have a consistent ongoing. Yes, you're committed to start something in your life, but you're not consistent in what you're doing. So be committed, be consistent, and, and do it in a professional way for a long time, in a communicational way. That's why I say when someone starts learning, becoming an agent, the first thing I say, learn another language. It opens another communication way. Simple. If you don't start learning another language, you're actually losing out. Right. This is something I do all the time with the students. I say, we gave each other a goal. I said, okay, choose a language you want to learn. And then we choose a language and say, okay, you have 12 months time to learn this language. So, developing them personally as well. And also, for example, I have a student in Mexico, and I were talking recently with him. And then he said, and I asked him, how is your day life looking like, your day-to-day life? I want to know it. Right. When do you wake up? What do you do? And then tell me about your day. Like, how does it work out, right? And then I think, I just wake up, have a breakfast, go to the, have my coffee, then go to the gym. And then in the afternoon, I come home and then I said, fuck off. I was like, this is not how you were successful. And especially, as an agent, right? That shit, like, sorry to say the word, but right? You need to change yourself. This doesn't work like that. You have committed to something, but you're not consistent with anything you do. They have a dream, but they don't have small goals in life. And I'm thinking, okay, from now on, you wake up and the first thing is you do 4 hours of work. Simple. You do breakfast and then you do work. And then you go to gym afterwards. So as a reward, right? So I'm actually, interestingly, with most of the students I'm working nowadays, it's more actually mentoring them and guiding them through normal life things. They kind of forget about what is the basic things in life to be successful. What is it to be on time somewhere? What is it to be, like basic things? But they're just committed. They're in the social media world where they see always videos the whole day, and then suddenly, I want to be a football agent. Yeah, okay, well done. Oh, these people have made it. I want to make it as well. Yes, but it doesn't work like that. So I think we sometimes have to come to the basic things in life. We sometimes forget about it when we want to achieve big things. And doing the basic things every day, it's very difficult. And I say to them, it's consistency. You need to do it every day. And then you will see the reward after 6 months, 1 year, 1.5, 2 years, but do it. And I think that's the key thing for most of them I've educated and still educating, to bring them something in their life, to create a habit of their consistency. That's my goal, literally, when I work with them. And I say, the knowledge you'll get, you can learn and everything, but to be a better yourself, with other words, to be a fantastic agent, you need to be a better person. You need to be better in every area. You need to develop constantly. So I think that's kind of key. Besides the education, we'll give together with Kristian and the FBA. I think we are also like similar in that sense. And I know how Kristian still in touch with probably nearly all of his alumni students. When I talk to them, sometimes they say, I talked to Kristian. I say, really? Did you talk to Kristian? Yeah. So, it doesn't matter where in the world. And I'm going, I talked to Dorian and Kristian. They're still in touch with them. I think the guidance afterwards is also, for me, very important, that we don't let them go, that we keep being an ear for them and listen to them and encourage them and motivate them.
Yeah, that's a powerful message. And actually, I'm thinking about what you said before, where actually the sport agent has to become a business agent. I would argue, based on your answer, at the end of the day, he has to become a proper person, if you will, right? Kristian, I don't know if you want to add to that, if there's something else. And I also want to take the opportunity to ask you, out of curiosity, within your students at the programs, is being an agent one of the most, let's say, most demanded professions, if you will?
So coming back to your previous question, and just to add to what Erkut mentioned, I think it's first of all very interesting that he can share those insights as well. I definitely think that we are seeing some kind of generational shift in habits and people's daily lives, which at the end of the day, I think we as slightly older and more experienced people have a role to play in terms of at least trying to get them to reflect on whether they've should change something or not in their lives, and then it's up to them, right? But at least giving them the perspective of someone that has already been working hard in this industry for many years, and has arguably succeeded in creating something good and succeeding in creating a good reputation, right? And so linking it to the recent developments in football and the lessons that can be learned from that, I think at the end of the day, first things first is that as you said, the change here, the constant here is change, right? There's always been new developments, whether legally or otherwise, and there's always been people in favor and against them. And of course, yeah, if you only base yourself on what you see on TikTok or what you read in the media, you'll probably only get the extreme viewpoints or some edge cases, right? But the reality is that the reality is often somewhere in the middle. And so it's important to evaluate situations by talking with people and stakeholders that have different sides or different experiences, so that you can then make up your own viewpoint. And that's, I think, the essence of what education should empower you to do. And so the main lesson, in my opinion, that there is that there needs to be dialogue, there needs to be a space for healthy debate and consultation. And at the end of the day, as Erkut as well mentioned, it's about thinking about the bigger picture, thinking about long term. And I think, in football, for better or worse, probably more worse than better, but there is a lot of short-term mindset, right? And I think if we can achieve to somehow eliminate that mindset from the up and coming generation, then hopefully over time, people making the decisions will have that longer term mindset as well, because it'll be in their habit. It'll have been part of their daily life for 5, 10, 15 plus years. And that's when you start creating some of those structural changes that arguably needed to take football to the next level. And so coming back to your other question in terms of, how many of the FBA candidates pursue a profession such as that of being an agent. So there's a lot of interest. I would say maybe roughly 5% of the alumni have become an agent after they did the master. So it's, a significant percentage, I would say, of the total alumni body. As you know, of course, we select our candidates from very different walks of life and academic backgrounds and professional experience. So naturally, there's going to be a lot of people that want to end up working at the clubs or at the federations or at brands or in other parts of the industry, both in terms of organizations as well as departments, right? So I think 5% roughly, is probably a fair number and representation of the interest. Now, of course, what we've also noticed, and this is probably what's going to segue us into the next part of this podcast, is that over the years, a lot of people that have inquired about our programs have expressed in particular their desire or dream to become a football agent, and whether we have a course specifically for that, right? So this is something that historically has been kind of like the number one question when people ask, well, what else do you have apart from the professional master in football business, right? A lot of people would say different things, but a majority of them would ask us about, okay, like, how can you help me become an agent? And some of them, they take the masters because they understand that it's very important, to Erkut's comment before, to have the knowledge from a law perspective, from a marketing, from the different angles. And that gives them kind of like that 360-degree viewpoint. And then they can specialize into really getting into the nitty-gritty of what it means to actually become an agent.
I would argue that percentage, which is already significant, it's going to be higher if we take into account what I was saying before, is that, in the future, the sport agent is going to become a businessman. So you're going to get more people that are going to be experts in football business, which is what you guys offer now. So, let's not wait any longer, guys. Erkut, I don't know if you want to just announce to the audience here today what you guys are working on.
Yeah, I mean, we need to start from the beginning a little bit. I mean, of course, because of this long-term relationship which I have with Kristian and the whole team of the FBA, Dorian and all the others, it's something grew kind of together here, right? We were always like talking about something doing into the within the agents field to creating something. And finally, after so many years, I'm really excited, to be honest, to bring this amazing opportunity out there for aspiring agents to join one of our courses. So we have two different ones. One is only online. The other one is also meeting me in Lisbon and spending some time with me on the ground and with the FBA team together and meet other people from the football agent world. So this was an ongoing thing for many years. Finally, we can't wait, actually. Everyone is really excited. The FBA side, my team, which worked on that, even making the videos were amazing. So the process of making it was funny and enjoyable. And now bringing it out to the world, to the entire world, an opportunity, where they can learn the most important things of becoming a successful agent. It's something really fascinating, and I can't wait to bring it out. But I can leave it to Kristian as the expert from the education side to tell more about the details of the courses, but I can just tell it's coming, guys. So stay tuned. It will be amazing for you to bring this course out into the world and share it with you. So it will be fantastic.
Kristian, I don't want to add to that.
Yeah. So it's, as Erkut said, a very exciting development that, while it only started in earnest, I guess 6 months ago, it's kind of like been building up in the background subconsciously for longer than that, right? And I think the programs are gonna, allow this people that have the passion to at least find out and figure out if it's something for them, right? I think a lot of times education also serves that purpose to see if what they think they want to become is actually what they study. So I think in terms of opening up that scope of target audience, it's going to be very powerful. The reason why we've also felt that launching this course was necessary and why it's the right time for it, I guess it's in two parts. So first of all, for those that may not know, and Erkut, maybe you can correct me on the days, but until 2014, I believe, agents had to have a license, right? By FIFA, they had to take an exam. Exactly. So until then, you had to do an exam, get a license if you passed it, and then you could be an agent. And then FIFA decided, okay, no more license, no more exams. Anyone can basically become an agent. And that lasted for 6 years roughly. And then just last year, I think it was, Erkut, correct me if I'm wrong, FIFA reintroduced the license model. And so people, again, need to take an exam. If they want to become an agent, they have to pass 15 out of 20 questions in order to exercise this profession, right? And so it's a very complex part of the industry, as Erkut mentioned. 30 years ago, maybe sure, it was just about negotiating the transfer and the salary, and that was it. But now there's so many more stakeholders involved and so many more aspects that an agent has to think about and take care of and advise his or her clients in the right way so that they can really stay focused on performing on the pitch and leaving everything else to professionals, right? So FIFA has also, reintroduced this license model with the exam, and many people, they actually want to prepare for that exam through an educational framework, right? Option A is you read 500-600 pages on your own, and you will apply to do the exam, and you either pass or fail. And if you fail, you can take it again, right? But there's people that learn in different ways, and for some, just doing it on their own works, and it's fine. But for others, they like to have certain concepts explained to them either verbally or through a combination of visual material as well. And this is where these two courses come into play, and I think can have a very big impact on the people that are wondering whether they should or can become an agent, and what it would look like. What would their life actually become if they do decide to take that step, right? I think Erkut in the course explains very well what it is and isn't to be an agent. I think there's a lot of, I guess, stigmas around the profession, first of all, which obviously can be debunked. And there's also a lot of misconceptions, right? So I think this is a very important part of this course. And for the FBA as such, we also felt that, with our expertise, we could introduce a differentiated product to the market, whilst with our reach and distribution, we can ensure that more people from across the globe can, for starters, be aware of the fact that you can study to be an agent and avoid certain mistakes. And then, help yourself to prepare you for the exam that FIFA has reintroduced.
I mean, what I like about this is that it kind of like adapts to the times and how people actually want to get educated. Majority, as you said, some people prefer to just read through pages and pages, but this is more, I guess it's on demand, right? At the end of the day, which kind of like fits into the schedule of what, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, here, but, being on demand, it's something that I can educate myself while still developing my career, while not setting aside anything, while just doing, expecting those peaks in work and not work. So I think that's interesting, but also it's current. It's current in knowledge. So at the end of the day, you're tackling both sides of it, right? So I don't know. Would you say there's anything else that makes it unique? I mean, you've outlined, you've outlined many features, but I don't know if there's something else that you would highlight that makes it unique versus what agents can find.
Yeah, I think one thing which makes it kind of unique, I would say, is there are read stories, right? It's not like that's why we complement each other very well with the FBA in terms of like the general knowledge, the regulations and everything. You can read them and learn them. That's fine. But then there are like real life stories which I bring into the game, which is like what really happens also behind the scenes. How do you can really establish yourself as a successful agent? What do you expect from the club side, from the players, from the families? Within the media, how do you need to work within the media as an agent, on the marketing side, on social media, and all these areas we are filling with real stories and real examples for the students to understand. Okay, that's what they actually experience. This is real life. This is not like a textbook. This is what happened to me and to my colleagues. So I'm telling about real stories over the last 20 years. So I think that's amazing for a student to find out certain information, saying, "Wow, okay, that's how we actually started. That's how they actually work. Okay, he had also these kind of problems, which I am feeling, right?" I think it's like learning from my mistakes, so to say, right? From my journey as well. It's very important for many I have educated in the past, but now with this course, it will be even get better, right? We give them a better platform to learn, where we bring the power together, and I think. Yeah, this real life things, it's fascinating for most of the students, and also getting a personal touch with me, right? And with the team of the FBA, because the FBA is a very personal education, I call them, right? They're personal, they're very personal. You can touch them, you can feel them, right? There are people behind, they're young, they're energetic, they want to improve, develop, it's and they're great people, and I'm friends with them. And so having them and having me on the other side as also touchable, feelable. Okay, I can talk to Erkut. I can really ask him the questions. I want to find out if that world is my world. I was thinking about becoming an agent, but maybe that course is for me to find out if it's really something for me. And I'm going to the course, and I found out, actually, it was good to learn about becoming an agent. So I've seen it from the other side, but I want to work in club. And I've many in the past educated agents, they today work inside football clubs. And some of them, I told them, funny enough, I said to them, I think you'll be much more valuable today to go into the football club environment. And I'm actually helping you with your CVs to send it to the right people. And you start working. And I'm sure after 3-4 years, you'll come out and become an agent. So you have seen them both sides. So it depends where their strengths and weaknesses are. We are kind of very personal as well. That's how FBA is, and that's how I am. If I see the students and I feel it, I can see, okay. And we're also very, we guide them as well. We're kind of mentors, right? We're not just like an educational hub or so. We are more than that. And I think bringing all this together will give the participants a great experience, right? And they will be empowered. They will be, energized by us to go into a certain direction. So I have a former student of mine who just does women's football, right? Because I realized he was just 18 years old when he joined me last year. Then we started some mentorship with him, and it worked out. And then I realized, okay, women's football, that's your field. And then we've written a book together, which we published 2 months ago, right? But like from a student, and I can't wait to meet all these students with this program from the FBA and they see these talents and then do something with them, not just for the course, but also beyond, to build a relationship, some of them you become great friends, which is amazing. It's just, for us, it's also amazing, for Kristian, for me, to build these relationships with the students. So it is more than a course, I think, and that's what we want to create here, and that's what we created actually for them.
One of the things that I was actually discussing with Kristian on the previous podcast is I'm amazed about the sense of community that, students from the FBA have. And I see them all over our events, and doesn't matter where you see them, everybody always has, that connection that you can see there's something there more than just, yeah, I studied with you for a couple of months or whatever, right? There's more there. There's a personal relationship. And I think it attests to what you guys are mentioning. You guys it's a really strong community. And I really admire that.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jaime. Like Christian, one of your former students, like Mateo, right? So, I mean, he is a former FBA student. I met him again, Jaime, at one of these events you said at SoccerX in Miami first time, I think. And then we met again. And now he works with us on a magazine, which we're bringing out, right? He's so helpful. Like, he's so good. And he's covering the Spanish market for the Parents Week. And it's amazing to work with them but the FBA was the thing which brought us together, right? That was the connection in the end. But we're doing something different, right? It's just, on top of whatever he does as well, right? We want to become an agent, but also I see like, okay, he has so much energy into an area, and this is what we can do very well. I think Christian is also very good in that, in terms of seeing the talent and then direct them then and helping them to go certain directions and be for them also after the course, right? I think it's very important, not just say, hey, come on, you joined. We met once in Portugal now, and then goodbye. Thank you very much. I think that's not us. I think Christian is not like that. I'm not like that. I think we're like more like, okay, we met, the journey starts. What's the next? So what is after the course? So what are we doing now? So you want to, how can we help you guys? How can we, give you something? Who can we introduce you guys? And we're also very sharing as well. Christian, as you said, like how Misha introduced it at the time, we're still like this. I share we are sharing contacts, we're sharing relationship with people because we love to add value to someone else's life, right? We want them to succeed, to become successful. Everyone I had as a student in the past, I want them to be very successful. So I can say, wow, that's amazing. We had a great impact for these students' life. They're now successful, and there are contacts for us in the business world out there. It's amazing. So when I go somewhere now in the world and I meet the students, and which I met like 10 years ago, and I still have a relationship, which is amazing, right? You can't buy that with money, these beautiful relationships you build. And I think that's what we do with these aging courses together with the FBA. We kind of open them a door for joining actually our network, for joining our community, rather than to say, hey, watch the course, meet us once and goodbye. I think that's not what we are giving here. We're giving more than that, becoming a part of a great community.
To your point, every time I try to catch up with Christian at a World Football Summit event, it's impossible because he always gets interrupted by his students, So it's kind of like, okay, I think I've probably spoken more to Christian and, before this episode that, than the actual event itself, no? But to your point, what I'm thinking is, and let's say the wider or the better relationships that you guys have among the community is going to be better for the profession because there's going to be more knowledge. There's going to be, I think, more diversity is going to bring in more wisdom, right? So, and that overall is going to help elevate the profession. And I think this is something that this course actually is able to achieve, right? Now, I guess I'm wondering, is this more for, let's say, upcoming agents or people who have experience? Who's typical profile of this? Is there any?
I think if you ask that question in context of our professional master in football business, the answer would be that, sure, in the majority of the cases, you have the career switcher, someone that has studied something and worked in a specific field and at some point realizes that they belong in football and they want to transfer their skills and energy to the football industry. And so I think with this agent course as well, it'll probably be quite similar. I think there's going to be young people that are maybe fresh graduates in sports management or law or business or some other related field that for one reason or another aspire to figure out whether they can or should become an agent, and they'll take the course, right? And then on the other side, there'll be people that maybe have that introspective moment later on in life. Maybe some people will have already, be 30 or 40 years old. They say, okay, like now I have the stability, financially and otherwise, to launch myself into such a new adventure, which at the end of the day it is, and Erkut can maybe, testify to that. But at the end of the day, becoming an agent is difficult in the sense that it usually takes long before you actually see the results of your work, right? Sometimes it can be at least months if you're lucky, years if you kind of like follow the main trend. So for some, on a financial perspective, if they want to start off by themselves as opposed to maybe a younger guy or girl that wants to join an existing agency and learn the ropes from someone else, there's I think scope to target both audiences, and at the end of the day, they'll have to learn the ins and outs of this role and this industry on the same level, right? Obviously, then the difference will be, how much of a network and professional experience that can be transferable to this specific job. But at the end of the day, I would be interested to see, once the applications start rolling in, what kind of like the breakdown is, and if we see specific trends, and if we do see maybe we can touch it on a future podcast or episode or something like that. But I think at the end of the day, this the fact that football is so many people's main passion point means that you'll get people interested in education and pursuing a career in the space, both in their 20s or even when they're 50 plus.
Yeah, I think you guys have an open invitation to do that. So whenever you guys are ready to kind of talk about the outcomes of the course, and because I'm also thinking how this is going to actually impact. You kind of have a sense of who's going to enroll, but then those who enroll, what actually is going to, or how that is going to transform their careers. I don't know if you have a sense of what could happen. Only time to tell.
Yeah, I mean, just coming back to the previous question as well, Kristian already answered it. I think there's nearly the 17-year-old up to I've seen everything, 50, 60 are interested in that. And I've like my own mentor, like 20 years ago, he started the agency business after 40, right? So there's no really age in terms of when to start, when is the best time or which age. It comes back all again to this commitment and want to really do it and want to invest time and energy for long term. If you have the desire, you love this game. If you want to really have a great impact on athletes' careers, if you want to do it in the long term, and if you don't dream of, hey, in 1 million, I want to make $1 million in 6 months. If you don't like that, then it's for anyone who really wants to, work on it. Because the reality is, you start making money after a certain time of period. It's not like in any other business. You don't just start and make millions, right? You just start somewhere and develop yourself. You might be working inside an agency and start with the salary after finishing the course, or you might be setting up an agency with your own friends because you're more entrepreneurial, like I am. I'm that person who wants to be always independent and I want to build always something. I can't see myself working in an agency. I feel today maybe changes in 5 or 10 years when I'm getting older and I want to be. I don't know, but if you ask me today, no, I want to be independent. And I love this experience of sometimes falling down in terms of, I love that because it makes me always like, oh man, it didn't work out. I need to find another way. I love that. Some people are getting disencouraged by not making it. I was like, wow, I need to try it again. Like my first deal I've made, I think it's also in the course. We can tell about a little bit about it. I made like so many years ago, and I was supposed to earn 25,000 euros from each deal. I still haven't got the money. It's like, so this was my first experience, and I was thinking like, oh my God, that's so bad. I don't want to be in this business, but actually, it made me who I am. And I said, thanks God, these things happened to me, and now I look back and say, actually, can laugh about that, right? And it's funny in some way, and it's great. And I think it's all about that you have the passion inside you that you want to do it and that you're committed to it. It doesn't make a difference what's your age, 18 years old, 25 years old. But no, by answering this question, I forgot actually your other question, Jaime. What was the follow-up question? Or did I cover it as well? Jaime, I'm trying to get you on a course. That's why I'm talking so much about that. Okay. Okay, I should have think, oh yeah, of course.
But I was thinking, now that you're on it, I think it's good to have that piece of advice. And actually, I was going to ask you that later. I don't know if there's any other advice that you want to share for upcoming agents, or Kristian, if you want to jump in, any advice that you guys want to share for people listening that want to actually explore the journey.
For my side, I think it always comes down to this, right? It's the same with our masters. It's going to be the same with this one. If you're already taking the first step to show interest, it's probably because something deep inside you has pushed you or pulled you towards this particular moment or this particular course or whatever it may be, right? So from my personal experience, I've always been kind of like the guy that listened to his heart. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but I've always did what I felt was the right thing for me in different moments in my life. And luckily, I always had the support of my parents. They probably did that because they had the opposite in their lives, right? So they wanted me and my brother to pursue our own dreams in our own way and create our own pathways. And so, long story short, I think when people have come to the realization that this is something that interests them, pursue it. Yeah. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, worst case, you'll have learned something new and maybe made a few new connections and realize that this is not for you. Well, you can still continue with your previous career or change it into something else, right? But if you've come to this point, it's probably because you know that you were made to be in this industry, that you were made to make football better, and that's a very strong, why. There's this famous author which talks about purpose, and his book is called Wait But Why, I think. I forgot his name right now, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get here too is, if people already are showing interest, there's nothing to lose. Like, just take it, try it, and this course will then hopefully give you a better sense of what it will take for you to take the next step and the one after that. The mistake that a lot of people make in these situations, usually, it's either of thinking about the end result and then seeing that it's way too hard or way too long into the future and not knowing that it's a journey of multiple small steps, right? And two is, not taking that leap of faith in the first place. And then when they get older, they regret it, right? So if you don't want to be in the category that regrets something that they didn't do, which is the majority of regrets based on studies made with a lot of elderly people, just go for it.
Yeah. Avoid the what if, right? I would say that. Erkut, I don't know if there's...
Yeah, look, I mean, I can just add to it, Kristian's. I think knowing your why, like Simon Sinek puts it together nicely. I think that's what the name you were looking for. I watch a lot of videos of him as well, just to learn about that and to know what actually, why you're doing things, right? Rather than what you're doing. And I think you should never disencourage yourself by the news outside, right? A lot of upcoming agents, which I heard in the past, is like, because agents generally not having always the best reputation because agents are not unified. Agents are not like UEFA, FIFA, or a club. They have, lobby, they have the media behind them. They have everything. So they could always, put the bad news always towards the agents, and the media loves it, right? There's always like the sense of, wow, this bad agent who wants 20 million as an agency, whatever, right? So you hear this one story and it's always like people say, oh, and I will never be one. I will never be George Mendes or Mino, like the former Mino Raiola who passed away, or the big names, right? The market is saturated. I'll never come in, and how will I compete with these big guys? So, and that, many of them think like, I never make it. So they already have it in their mind. It's gone like, and these people also will never make it because they don't even believe they can make it. And I tell them always, all these other agents who are in the game today, they're not there because they're more educated than you or smarter than you or more intelligent than you. They were in the right place in the right time where this agency just started, the agency world, and they were the first ones there in the business, right? They were there when no one was there. And one thing all these agents share is they're risk takers, right? They go for it. They're not afraid about what can happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you need to take, in the end, you need to take risks in your life if you want to achieve what you really want. But if you always think about, you always be in your comfort zone and you don't want to leave the comfort zone, you have your 3,000 to 5,000 a month, settled, done. That's comfort zone, right? For some people, it works well. That's fine. And then you should stay in that. But most of people, they don't try even to get out. They don't think once getting out, you can always come back. It doesn't, there's so many job opportunities to come back, but you need to leave sometimes this comfort zone to kind of struggle a little bit as well, to learn what is your limit? What can you do on your own? If you don't find that out, you'll never know. You'll always stuck to this certain lifestyle, and then it's too late. You can't get out. So just go out there if that's something you want to do, and if you can. And especially with the women's game growing so fast, it's so the agent's game is growing as well. And as I mentioned in the beginning, the commercial side of becoming an agent, it's so big now. You can only live from commercial deals rather than even not representing any players. You can be an agent who represents always the selling club because you're good in, following the market and understanding how to sell players. You could be a good salesperson in the football world, right? You might delve into football, but you later end up becoming an NBA agent. You don't know that. But you don't know it because you don't try it out. You don't feel it. You don't sense it. You don't get into it. And then I think it's very important sometimes in life to take these risks. I'm a big risk taker. Like I've always taken risks and I still do that. But it's exciting. And so people don't know, like I started 2 recruitment companies while I was living in London and both went down, right? And I started the 3rd one in America. People don't know that, right? Yes, I lost time, energy, money, but I learned so much by failing twice to start to create a recruitment company only for sports, right? It didn't work out. And now I'm on my 3rd journey with Pizzide. So I'm just like, I learned, right? He could have said to me after the first try, okay, that's not for you, leave it. A second time, and now it's time to say goodbye to this recruitment thing you're trying on the side. I said, no, man, I learned. I'm doing a 3rd time now. So again, it's that's the journey we have to do in life. Sometimes we need to go through these events and journeys. And also, like, not many people know, my first business I've ever created went down as well. It was Istanbul when I was a student. And with the tax advisor and the lawyer, 3 of us created the company. And it was a disaster. After 1 year, it was gone. Like I was left on my own. Them 2 left, and I was left on my own with the debt. People don't know that, right? But it is okay. So I was rather working as a waiter, and I was rather teaching students from the Boğaziçi University in Istanbul English, imagine, just to stay, just to keep my life going on. But I didn't let my dream pass away and says, oh, now I'm stopping. I think it's important to, keep going on and don't stop, just very important.
That's actually, let's say, something that I wanted to ask you both. Because you guys, you're sports entrepreneurs at the end of the day. But I mean, how do you do it? How do you involved in so many things? You're always at every event, it seems. You have so many projects going on, whether it's new initiatives, new content, it's new courses that you guys are launching. I mean, is it just a matter of mindset?
I think yes, to mindset definitely, but also to having that internal, why and the internal desire to do these types of things and to manage your life in such a way, right? As Erkut very well mentioned, these things are not for everyone, but for us in this case, it is what drives us. It is what keeps us motivated and what allows us to enjoy the life that we kind of like envision and the interactions and the relationships that we want to have and build up. So once you have the desire and you have the mindsets, then almost nothing can stop you, right? Or probably nothing, I don't know. But in my personal experience, it's a lot about having the right why. This is also why we created the Football Business Academy. We wanted to accelerate the professionalization of the football industry. It's a mission still near and dear to our heart. Obviously, there's already 7 years of results, but early days, right? There's still so much left to do and people to educate and things to improve that, we stay very motivated on that mission. Whereas with the events, with what you mentioned before of staying up to date with all of our alumni, this is something, I guess, that is partly natural in me. I just always was that guy, even in high school, that brought together his friends and we would watch Champions League together and we would do sweepstakes and we would go to games and I would kind of like be that middle point of trying to connect relationships and activities. So for me, it came as a very natural progression to do something like this in my professional life as well. And I enjoy it, and as Erkut mentioned before as well, this concept of the FBA family, that community that we've developed over the years and that community spirit that we keep nurturing. I think you're going to end up with much better results, but B, you're going to have much more fun along the way, which I think is the first reason why you should do anything, right? If you don't take fun in it or pleasure in it, like why do it in the first place? If you just do it for financial gain, you're not going to be satisfied in life. If you do it for some other exterior motive, at some point you're going to give up because it's not going to, keep driving you. Whereas in my personal case, all these interactions, all these events, all these projects, they make me get up out of bed, and try every day to become a better version of myself and see how it can be helpful to someone else.
Nice. Erkut, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, he already gave great points. I mean, I'm like very as I said before, I'm someone who tries out things. I'm an action guy, right? I'm someone like if I put something in my mind, I make some quick I call it easy business plan in my mind, right? And then I go for it, right? I'm not going for the expensive business plan in terms of it might be put off. I feel it, I do it, and I go for it. And then I try to implement. I think what I've done over the 10, 15 years, I created many habits. I think that helps me a lot in my life. So if it's in the morning, I would do my walk every morning with the dog every morning, right? So because I'm the first who will wake up at home, I take the dog, we go out half an hour to 45 minutes, and I will always do my meditation. That's like, I have this, my 10 minutes walking meditation. It's on Spotify. You can find it. It calls walk meditation. I'm listening to the same thing again and again, right? So it's kind of, I do breathing in and out. I relax, it relaxes me while I'm walking. I'm on my own. I look around, and then, the first 10 minutes is walk meditation. The second 10 minutes I do every morning, I do gratitude. And I'm someone who loves doing that. I'm like, so I say, I'm healthy. I'm alive. I'm healthy again. One more day in my life. I can eat myself. I can drink. I can go to toilet myself. I have the basic things which I need in life. I can see the beautiful place I walk in. I'm so grateful that I live now here in California. I'm so grateful that I have 2 beautiful kids, a beautiful wife. Thanks God that, I'm so grateful for 10 minutes. I'm just giving the power inside me that I'm just a grateful person for whatever I have and what I've achieved. And the last 10 minutes, I would always do motivation. So I would put in a Denzel Washington or Steve Jobs. I would listen to the others, and it just motivate myself, because people say, hey, Erkut, you're always motivated. And you always, yeah, but I motivate myself. I need that too. Otherwise, I'm doubt. People don't realize I have also like moments where I doubt myself, and I'm saying, man, you won't be able to do it. But this ongoing to motivate myself, to listen to other stories, it helps me. I like having this routine morning helps me to then be very powerful throughout the day, right? And then I have a great team. I have a team all over the world in terms of working with my agency. The football agency is run by himself, literally by Thomas, a 28-year-old agent, which I educated. He's now the CEO, but all the agents I educated him. It's kind of they running it. I'm more on next to them as with them on a daily business. And on also the education side, I have 2 guys there working. So I have a great team. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do so much, to be honest. So I'm really grateful to have a fantastic team around me that gives me the opportunity to do many things in life. I'm actually just, this is also news with this podcast. So my 3rd novel is coming out. And I was working there for, it's like 18 months, right? It took me it's fine. It takes me 18 months, but I'll finish it. I don't care. So when I've done, just to give you an example, when I've written my first novel, Deadline, I was in London at the time living. And every night when I was going into the shower, like I'm a night shower guy, right? I would have a pen and I would write into the bath, I'm an author, right? I had over 300 times. My wife said, you're crazy. What are you doing? Like it was all over the shower. I was written, I'm an author, I'm a writer, I'm an author. And I said, I need to believe that I've already won before even the book is out. Otherwise, I will not succeed with that, because it's so difficult. The first, especially, you need to learn build characters. You need to learn to build location. You need to learn to write suspense. You need to learn so many things, right? And then you go through up and downs. You're 1 week sitting there writing not even one word. It can disencourage you, but I had to motivate myself. And every night before I go to bed, I would write down the show, I'm an author. And then you go to bed, I'm so energized. Yes, man, I'm done. I will write my first novel. And then I got approached by 4 filming companies for the filming rights, right? No one knows that as well yet, but I haven't sold it yet. So I will sell a series of books. That's the goal. But again, I would never think about that book will become maybe a movie, right? Never in my mind. But I've done it really with all my passion and energy every morning. And I dedicated the morning time. I had 1 son at the time. So I was an early wake up guy. I went down into the kitchen. I had my iPad there, and sit down and do 1 to 1.5 hours every morning. So again, it's continuously doing it, not just like 1 week. And same with becoming an agent and being successful for everyone out there. You need to do it every day, even a little bit, like learning Spanish, right? I'm not that fluent like you guys, pero hablo español muy bien. ¿Por qué? Porque sí, nací y crecí en Alemania, pero ahora mismo yo vivo en California. And how did I learn it here, right? I gave a lecture in Mexico last year. I said to them, I put it in my life. I live the Spanish life, right? I was on the way driving here to the office before I'm talking to you guys. I was listening to Marca, right? About the news, the football news. I was listening about yesterday's Espanyol Barcelona over the weekend. Like I was listening what's going on with the transfers of Real Madrid and Barcelona, but in Spanish, right? But last night I was sitting with my kids at home and they were watching Netflix, a kids movie. So I put the Spanish subtitles. They can watch it in English, but there are Spanish subtitles, right? So when I'm in the plane, I'm flying, I watch Spanish movies. I would never watch English anymore, but English subtitles. And every night when I'm in bed, Duolingo would remind me it's your vocabulary list, right? It's a part of my life. So whatever I do, and everyone I know in the Spanish world, right? My agent colleague in Colombia, Paulo, I tell him, look, you write to me everything in Spanish. I don't care. Write the emails, the text messages, and when you call me, we talk in Spanish until I say, okay, I can't or I don't understand. So doing it every day, and then you don't realize it, how after 1 year, 1.5 years, wow, you actually can speak the language. So again, doing it consistently, not just being committed, but doing consistently. I think this is something I learned over the years by making mistakes, by not being consistent, but eventually I became very consistent.
It's a good message at the end of the day. It's not, you didn't get too technical. It's just about really being committed to your profession and being consistent about it. What else is there to say? No, it's a simple message in a complex world, which are the ones that stick. Guys, this has been a fantastic conversation. I don't know if you guys have any final words you want to share with the audience in terms of, I don't know, where they can find more about the course or any advice that you guys want to share, further advice, anything. Really, the floor is yours. Kristian, maybe we can start with you.
Sure. Thanks, Jaime. Well, regarding the course, very easy. It'll be on our website. So in our case, the-fba.com. You'll get to know what kind of modules there's in the course and how to sign up for it. But again, as I mentioned before, if it's something that really intrigues you as a professional choice, let's say, just give it a go. And then just in general, talking from an educational standpoint, I think, at the end of the day, knowledge, of course, is very important. And so is network. I think, on all our programs, we always try to emphasize that. But the most crucial thing, I think, to also summarize what a lot of points that Erkut and I discussed today, you also have to have the soft skills, right? So you can have great knowledge, you can have a great network, but if you're a douchebag, something else, then people are not going to want to work with you, right? So I think the soft skills, the communication, the habits, all these things, they can make such a big difference. And again, to Erkut's points, sometimes people, they self-sabotage themselves by thinking that it's too difficult or, there's all these other successful agents or whatnot in the world. How am I going to, reach their level? But he's right. Like a lot of times, first of all, they started at the same point or maybe even worse than you. And they just, through sheer determination and grit and working every day and developing the habits that Erkut mentioned, they quote unquote made it, right? So if you think that you're less worthy than anyone else, you're wrong. So just give it a go, take that leap of faith. The magic usually happens outside of your comfort zone, I would say. And so when you develop the mindset, when you work on your soft skills, but also hard skills, of course, so that you can be more employable or more, I don't want to say likable necessarily, but at the end of the day, people they prefer to do business with people they like. I think there's so much opportunity to develop a career, to develop a personal life that you can be proud of, that you can create impact through, and that you can at some point look back on with gratitude, with fulfillment, and with everything else that comes with it, right? So I think that would be my closing statement for this podcast.
Powerful. Thanks. Thank you so much. Erkut, on the lead forward.
Yeah, from my side, I think, first of all, thank you very much, Jaime, for having us here today. It was a pleasure talking with you. Great opportunity for us. And I believe, or I'm really looking forward to get students on board or aspiring agents or agents who are already in the game, but want to, learn and doing it better. And becoming a part of our community with the FBA together. Join this family, I'll call it. Like, it's not like you're not joining a course, you're actually joining a community where with great people are waiting for you, and you build a new, a pathway for yourself and learn from these people, not just, as Kristian already said, the lectures and everything. Also the soft skills is very important. And we are like, we are people who guide people, or we are people who mentor people. And I think this is a great environment to join. and to learn and also to enjoy a lot, to laugh a lot, to be, like, and open new ideas and meet others. That's also very important. What I realized in the past, in these agent courses, you meet other upcoming agents or already agents who are established themselves, but just need to learn more and get some guidance. And they're becoming friends between them, and they're suddenly starting an agency together. So it's not just us, right? It's also the wider community joining the FBA there that will open many doors for them. And all the events, as you already said, we go to these events, we can meet them personally. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to get great people on board to, explore the world of being a football agent, have a great impact with them, with Kristian and his team. And it will be just amazing. I just can't wait to get the first ones on it, to see who they are, and to start engaging and learning with them.
What I liked most about this conversation, which was, it was very human. And I think, we talk about emotions, we talk about soft skills, we talk about communication, consistency. And I think it kind of like attests to what the profession needs. I mean, in a world of such complexity, of technology, of, everything that's going on, I think we have to defend the profession from the angle that it's a human profession and that it brings an element that no other technology can actually deliver, if you will. So anyway, guys, I had so much fun. Definitely we're going to have to do a round two of this in the future when you guys have some more interesting stories to say. And yeah, you guys are welcome anytime, and we'll probably be again in Sevilla in a few months for Welcome Southern Europe. So looking forward to that. Although again, we won't be able to speak a lot with Kristian because he's going to get...
We can at least say hi to him from far away. Hi, Kristian, and then move on. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a great week. Have a great time. All the best, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. And there you have them, Kristian Dobrev and Dr. Erkut Sogut. Now, as I was saying towards the end, this has been such an inspiring conversation, such a human conversation. And really the takeaways that I have from are really about that. At the end of the day, this is about people who are passionate for football and who want to make a better football industry. And really, yes, we're in complex times for the industry. That's true, but that's exciting. It opens up a lot of opportunity. And the role of the agent is going to evolve into how, Erkut was saying, into business agents and into, overall better people. For that to happen, it's really important to have skills like good communication, like, being able to foster dialogue. But, as we were mentioning towards the end, being consistent, in your habits and your effort, just really every day is the grind, and just trying to push yourself to become better every single day. It's kind of like the basics in life. What I liked about the course is that, it adapts to how people demand being educated today in their own time, with people that are actually doing the work. It's not theoretical. It's actually putting things into practice from people who are actually, making change happen, right? So that's what I liked it. Again, just to finish off, some of the skills that, they were mentioning is, trust your gut. If you feel this is something, this course that could be of interest, why not just venture into it and see if it's something that's for you. Avoid the what if, right? And, just don't get intimidated by all the external perceptions that there's around the sports agent profession. It doesn't make sense. But you will have to embrace risk. Again, as we were saying, the only constant is change, right? So, and this is an industry that's changing very, very rapidly. Anyway, guys, I don't know if there's anything else that stood out to you. If so, make sure that you reach out on social media as always. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe, rate the podcast, share it with people that you know. It helps us a lot. And nothing else. I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of the World Football Summit podcast. I really hope that, you feel inspired and that you learned something new. Hopefully, we'll see you next time.